Hello. All right. Okay. So, hey everyone, I am Harshal Jain and we'll be starting with our new series. So, our series name is 3x Dev, and some people might have a confusion what this is about and is it free or what will be covering, and have different questions definitely. So someone has actually asked, is it free? Yes, it's totally free. So I'll be just introducing you with the series. So this is actually 3x Dev series and it's about MERN Stack project series. We won't be covering the theory part, we would be covering the project part, okay, the complete project part, front end as well as the back end part. Yes, the full stack projects would be covered. Three projects would be covered in the series. So the first project is the blog application, second project is fitness application, and the third project is movie booking website. Okay, so these three applications would be covered and the complete projects would be covered in MERN stack. Okay, hi guys. Hi Divya, hi Himanshu, hi Vivek, hi Zishan, Success Junction, hi. Thanks, yaar. Thanks for joining. And this series would be actually started as actually started from today, and it would be covered from Monday to Saturday every week. And we would be actually taking 3 weeks for three projects. Okay, so the first project in 1 week, second project in second week, and the third project in third week. Okay, so every day, most probably it would be 8 p.m. But yeah, I might reschedule it to 6 p.m. So please check the live session before joining the stream. Okay, and one more thing. I would like to mention you can check out the Geeks for Geeks development channel to learn more about the things. Okay, I have previously covered a lot of sessions regarding MERN stack specifically, and you can check out the whole channel. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe this specific series. And you can check out the previous. I have actually taken a MERN stack based series before also, so you can actually check out this 15 days of backend development if you're weak in backend development, like in Node.js, Express, MongoDB. So you can definitely check out this series. Then if you want to learn something about React.js, then you can check out this front end part. If you are not compatible with the complete full stack part, then you can check these specifically. Okay, this is for React.js. If you want to learn React.js and you know React.js, but if you want to build some project only front end part, then this is good. And if you only want to cover the backend part, then this is good. And if you want to cover the complete full stack part, then this is good. Okay, so let's begin. And before continuing, actually, you can check out in the pinned comment of the live chat, or you can also check out the description. In description, you would find the MERN stack full course. So I would just take you to that. So in the description you would find these two links. You can check out both of these links. And this is for online. Okay, this is for online and this is for offline. So if you are compatible, if you feel that you can join offline courses, then you can check out this course. Okay, this is for Stack offline, and you can see that the locations are Gurgaon and Noida. Okay, and the second one is this one. Okay, so you can also check out this course. So this is a complete full stack live course. So if you wanna purchase a live course, definitely you can. Okay, so this is apart from the series. Okay, the 3x dev series would be totally free. You don't have to pay anything for this, right? So let's continue. And we have some doubts here. um सर फिट ग्रोसरी का बैकएंड नहीं बना है एक्चुअली. Yeah, there is actually a requirement for building backend of Fit Grocery application, and I mentioned the playlist. So yeah, we didn't build the backend, but actually this was only the front end project. I tried to build a backend series for it, but it's not possible now. But maybe someday we'll build backend for that too, and a specific series for Node.js backend for the Fit Grocery front end app. Okay. Is there a way to deploy a project on AWS or Google Cloud without card details? No, there is no way because like for the initial first year, AWS or Google, I haven't used Google Cloud, but I have used AWS. So for the initial first year, it's free, but it still asks you for the card details. So you can't continue without that. Okay. Surfeit grocery का backend नहीं बना. Okay, we have covered this. One project will take 1 week. Yes, we'll be covering one project in 1 week. Okay, that means every day we'll be live for an hour and we would be coding that front end as well as the backend part. Okay, videos daily आएगी. Yes, videos would be covered daily and Monday to Saturday. Sunday might be off. Need some rest. Okay. So let's begin. And in the live chat, please mention that how many of you are actually familiar with MERN stack and how many of you have actually worked on MERN stack, what kind of project have you worked on, and what difficulties have you faced till now in MERN stack? Okay, till then, let's are we going to use AWS in this? We are not going to use AWS in this specifically because it takes a lot of time to host and do things in AWS. So that's for some other series. In this series, we would be only covering the full stack part. That means building the whole application. We won't be covering the deploying part. That means hosting part because it would take time for that also. Okay, but definitely if we get time for any specific project we would definitely use AWS for hosting it also because I have an idea at AWS, so I can definitely do that. But it would take some time. So maybe if we get some time in any session, we would be covering the AWS part also. Okay, so it would be very beneficial for everyone definitely. AWS भी पढ़ाओगे आप? So I can't teach AWS because it's a very vast thing, but yeah, I can teach the deployment part if we get time or if I take separate session for that. Okay. Yes, I learned from 15 days of backend development Node.js, pretty much new. Okay, great. So that playlist is definitely enough. If you are new here, you can definitely check out. And that playlist is enough for backend development. Is there any way to integrate? Okay, actually, if you want to integrate map, we have APIs. Like I have used Google Maps and particularly you can get those APIs from Google. But yeah, you have to give some money. Okay, so give and take. If you have money you can purchase those APIs and then you can use the API. I think it's for per use base you can use those APIs. All right, so now let's continue. Now I'm going to show you what exactly are we going to make today. Okay, I'm just going to show you what thinking process did I go through to start this project. Okay, so first of all, you have to make your design and what you want to make. Okay, exactly. The first thing is very important. So I'll just show you my design, what exact design which we are going to make, and similar to that, first of all, you have to make the design. After that, you have to think the backend APIs. Okay, if you are creating a full stack application. So let me just show you that. And I mostly create all of my designs in Canva, like not a paid promotion, but yeah, definitely you can use Canva. Why I use Canva? Because it's for me. I'm not a UI designer, so I use it for drag and drop stuff, and it's easy for me to keep all things at one place. Okay, that's why. So you can see we are going to make a similar kind of blog application. You can see at the top we have profile section, search a blog section, add a blog section. Okay, then this is the logo, normal logo, and then you can see home, about, and contact. So this is the navigation bar, and then at the top I'll be showing the top news sliders. Okay, so it would be like latest blogs or trending blogs, anything you can show it here. Okay, so it would be a slider. Then you can see we have categories. So categories can be news, podcast, music, stock market, and things like that. So category will be here. After that, you would see latest blogs in some shapes. Okay, so you can see I've just designed a demo page like this so that you can understand what kind of application which we are going to build. Okay, so this is the home page, you can assume. Now I know that this is my blog application and I'm going to build something like this. So after that, this is my front end part, and I have assumed that my blog app would be having a profile section, having blogs, having categories, having you can say you can add blog also, you can search a blog also. So these are all the functionality. From where will I start my functionality? Obviously from the back end. So after designing the front end, somewhat basics of front end, now you are coming to the backend part. Okay, so now you are coming to the backend part. So this is the way you are always going to work on any project. This would be a lot easier. Like you don't have to change front end and backend again and again. First of all, you have to design it, then you can work on it. Okay, even if you are not a good UI designer like me, still you can just make some rough work and then you can work on it. Okay, right. Sir, how did you learn web development so quickly? I'm also ahead of you, but I can't do it. Too, I have been practicing web dev for 2 years. Actually, it's not like people are definitely better than me in the same things. Maybe because of projects, I think projects help me a lot. If you aren't able to remember things, that's totally fine because in most cases, I also forget things in the development part or in anything. But the main thing is that I can just take things from Google. I know there is the login API. I can just pick that login API from somewhere, sign up API from somewhere. You know that how you can build an application. That's the main thing. Okay, so if you can't remember things, then that's totally fine. But if you feel that I just forget the logic every time, and that's the main issue, so for that what you can do is you can build as many projects as you can. This would help, right? So here you can see these are all the screens which I have decided I would make. Okay, so I've just mentioned it here so that I don't forget things every time. So this is the rough work which I do every time. So first of all, I would be making login, sign up and forgot password screens. Then I would be creating an add blog screen. From that screen any user can add a blog. Okay, then you would be making a home page. Home page would be having a slider, categories and latest blogs, right? Then you would be talking about specific blog page. If I suppose if I click on this card, this is a specific blog. If I click on this card, a complete whole page of blog would open up, right? So that's for a specific blog page. Specific blog page would be there. Then a search page would be there. If you click the search icon, it would take you to a search page and then you can search for any blog, right? Or you can directly open the search bar here, then you can search for any blog, right? It's like that. And after that you can see we have a profile page and then extra pages like about contact, which I don't think we would cover because they are off the topic. Okay, so these are all the screens, almost all the screens which we are going to make. Now after that, let's talk about the first important thing which we are going to cover. Okay, what are the three projects in this course? Okay, so the three projects in this course are actually, the first course is the first project is the blog app, and the second project is movie app, and the third project is fitness app. Okay, the order might change, but yeah, these are the three projects we will cover. Okay, so now after this, in the backend part, very important thing is authentication. So we would be covering complete authentication. Okay, that means we would be covering the email verification also. While you are registering in the register page, we would take three details: name, email, password. Then we would perform email verification. Email verification means that I would be sending an OTP to your email using node mailer. Okay, we would use node mailer for that. So email verification would also be done here. Then register part is done, your email is verified. Now in the login part, again email and password would be taken. Okay, and in return you would get JWT access and refresh token. So we would be getting these tokens from the backend as a response. Okay, so this is also important and we would be covering that also. And then you are talking about the forgot password. So forgot password is, again, you would verify the email, send OTP, match OTP, then you can change the password. Okay, so that's for the forgot password. So this is the authentication part which we would cover. Then in the blog part, we would be first of all performing four operations. Okay, create, read, update, delete. Okay, these are four important operation for anything which you are going to learn in development or anything. So these are four important things and we are going to do the same for the blog. Okay, so first operation would be add blog. Okay, add blog would contain a title, a main image which you would show as a poster for the blog. Then you would have some description for the blog. Now after that you have paragraphs for the blog. And then who is the owner of the blog? That means I am creating the blog, so I am the owner. If you are creating the blog, you are the owner. Then what's the category of the blog? So these are all the details which we are going to save while we are saving a blog, while we are creating a blog. Okay, and what is a paragraph? Paragraph would be containing again a title, body and image. So there can be multiple paragraphs, so it's easy for us to handle things. Okay, so paragraphs and then different things which you can see. So these things are really important when in backend part you would be creating models, right? So first model would be of the user model. You can see this is a user model. User model would be containing what? Name, email and password. And one more thing would be the blogs created by that user. Okay, so at least four things would be contained in the user model in the backend part. Similarly, the blog would be also containing the title, main image, description, paragraphs, owner, category. 4 5 things in the blog model also. This would also be covered in the backend part, right? Then after that you would be giving some options like edit blog, delete blog, read blog. Okay, so we would be covering this also. Okay, all the operations can be easily done, but only by the owner, obviously. Okay, so this can be done. Now after that we also want to get blogs somehow in some way. That is, for example, we want to show blog by category. So for example, we won't obviously, if we are having thousands of blogs in our application, so do you think that we would be showing thousands of blogs as a response? Okay, it would be too large to send as a response. So what we would do, we would be showing results 10 at a time. Okay, that means we would be giving the user load more option, or after a few intervals, like on scroll, more blocks would be loaded. Okay, so we would be performing that also. So that would be really helpful for on those cases where you have large amounts of data. That means if you have thousands of blocks, you would be sending 10 blocks at a time, so that load is very less and the response is faster, right? So we would be covering that also. Similar to this, get blocks by category, get blocks by date, and also search blog by name. Okay, if you are searching for any specific blog, then we would be creating an API for that also. Then after that, we have a slider banner in the home page. So what it actually has is, it would be containing some blogs. Okay, so a very trending blog would be shown in the first slider, and then second and third. So we would be covering logic for that also. So show blog, delete blog, and add blog on the title. Okay, sorry, on the banner page. Okay, slider banner. Right, so that's all I think we would be covering in almost every section, and these are all the important parts of the backend. At least for the backend, this authentication and this create, read, update, delete, and also the get search part of the blog, these all are very important for the backend. So sir, please focus on authentication more. I've been struggling on that topic. Yes, I would be covering the complete authentication, don't worry about that. Some people only cover the access token and forget the refresh token, and that's what I have done in some of my previous projects. I have covered the refresh token in some of the projects, but yeah, mostly I've skipped that. So in this specific series, in this specific project, blog project, we will be covering the complete authentication. Nothing will be missed, so that you won't feel any problem with the authentication part. And also, I would recommend one more thing. Once we cover the authentication, I would ask you to save the code somewhere separately so that you can use that again and again. Okay, first part would be covered in the authentication also. First of all, we will be making the authentication in the backend, and I would ask you, all of you, once we make the authentication, I would give a reminder. But once I complete the authentication, please save that code somewhere else for like for future purpose. Okay, you would be using authentication again and again. So why write code again and again? You can copy paste the code again and again, right? So authentication is almost same for every backend, I think. Okay, is this we call a LLD? I'm not sure what is a LLD. Please elaborate what's LLD. Sorry, sir, I am late. Can you please elaborate once more? Okay, sure. I'll just elaborate once more for everyone. So, first of all, you can check out the description for paid courses by Geeks for Geeks, specifically MERN Stack course. We have the link in description. You can check out that. Now, after that, I'm showing you the design. So that's a rough design which I have created. No more details. Okay, just some basic rough design. Okay, yeah, low level designing. I don't know what's that, but yeah, it's somewhat you can say that as the name suggests, so it's a low level design. I'm not really sure what's LLD. Okay, so yeah, here you can see in the home page, this is a rough design. I've just made a navigation bar which would be containing a profile section. If I click on this, it would be showing me the profile section where we design an application. Yeah, you can consider as a low level design because yeah, this is a very rough design. Okay, so it would give you an overview. But from my perspective, I think I'm not a good UI designer. So from my perspective, it's just a rough design. That's what I call it. Okay. So yeah, user page, search page, add blog page. Then we have home page, about page, contact page. Okay. These are all the pages. Then in home page, I have just shown you a slider. Okay. First of all, this is a slider. Okay. And then you can see we have categories. So categories can be anything: music, dance, stock market, infrastructure, different kind of categories which you can say for a blog. Okay, so different kind of categories. Then latest blogs, so these are all the blogs which are uploaded recently, and we would be showing some amount of blogs, not all the blogs, so that it's easy to get the data. Okay, so yeah, some blogs would be shown here. Okay, these you can consider some basic small cards of blogs. Once you click that, a complete page of blog would open up. Okay, it's like that. So hi, for backend, which technology do you use? As the name suggests, it is MERN stack, so we would be using Node.js. Okay, please don't ask this question because we would be using Node.js. It's fine, you don't know, but yeah, we would be using Node.js since it's a MERN stack series, MERN stack project. Okay, right. All right, so this would be a somewhat rough page, and you can see these are some of the screens which we are going to create. I'll just repeat once more. So we would be creating login, sign up, forgot password. Then we would be creating a add blog screen. Okay, then in the home page we would be having some sections of slider categories and latest blog cards. Then we would be having specific blog page. Then we would be having search page. Okay, then we would be having profile page, and then we would be having the about contact page. If we get time, we would be making beautiful about and contact page. Okay, so then we have the authentication part. Okay, so this is important for the backend, that's why I mentioned it here. Okay, so these are all the front end things, important front end things. Then let's talk about the backend. So in backend, first of all, first important thing is the authentication. So I would recommend all of you, once we complete the authentication, please save the code somewhere else so that you can use it again and again for future projects. Okay, so in the authentication we would be covering everything. That means I would be covering saving data as well as verification of email. Okay, so once the user registers for the first time, their email would be verified, and we would be using free service, that is NodeMailer. Okay, NodeMailer is free, so you can use that. Now in register part, we would be taking at least three details: name, email, password. Do we need to go through JS YouTube series to understand? Actually, I would say if you're not that much familiar with MERN, that means you haven't worked on Node.js, Express, MongoDB, and React.js separately. Okay, if you haven't covered any project, that's fine. But if you are not knowledgeable of that, so definitely I would recommend please cover the MERN theory part first. Okay, that's important. But if you're familiar, you have coded some Node.js backend and some React.js frontend, then that's totally fine. You can watch this playlist, okay, 3x dev playlist. Right, so yeah, here we have the three sections: register, login, and forgot password. These are all the required things. Whenever we create the backend API, these would be actually required. Okay, then after that, we would be working on the blog. Also in the backend, we would be creating four APIs: add, edit, delete, read. Okay, that means create, read, update, delete. Okay, these four things would be done here. So in add blog, we would be saving these kind of details. Then edit blog, we would be saving these kind of details, and again in the delete we would be deleting it. In the read part, you would be sending the blog as a response complete blog. Okay, then you have a few more things like show blog by category. Okay, if someone selects the category stock market, so we would be showing blog in that category, okay, as a response. Then similarly, we would be showing blogs by date, that means latest blogs, oldest blogs, things like that. Then we would be having search blog by name. If you type a name, you would get a blog according to that. Then we have slider banner in home page. Okay, in home page you would be getting slider banner. So it's basically this part, I'm talking about this part. So this part simply says that yeah, you would be showing some latest trending blogs, and you can do this manually, or I would allow them admin. Okay, this is for the admin part. Okay, so only admin can actually show banner. So I would allow the admin to show any blog in the banner section. Okay, that means in the slider banner and with the details. Okay, somewhat we'll do it this way in the slider banner. Okay, so these are all the APIs, almost all the APIs which we would be needing. So for the blog part, this is it, and authentication part, this is it, right? So I hope you liked the design. By the way, it still took me a few I would say minutes at least to create this kind of design. Okay, so please appreciate me in the live chat. Doing it, okay, right. So guys, now let's continue. First of all, I would also like to mention that in every day, like every day, I would be sharing you complete source code in my GitHub profile. Okay, so you can actually create your GitHub account. If you don't know what is GitHub, you can search a bit about it. Okay, so I'll just take you to my GitHub profile, github.com/VIRAJJ014. Okay, so this is my GitHub profile. You can just follow me here, and in the repositories all the old source codes are also available. You can check out the complete profile. भरे पड़े हैं यार, projects बहुत सारे हैं. The latest source code that is for the blog application, I'll upload that also. Okay, so complete source code would be given. You don't have to worry about anything, right? So now let's continue. So now we'll be just setting up things today, and we'll be covering the front end part not in React.js. We would be covering it in Next.js, because nowadays it's recommended to use Next.js over React.js. Okay, better than me. या ठीक है, ठीक ठाक यूआई बना लेते हैं. Okay, so yeah, we would be covering the front end in Next.js. Next.js is a little bit advanced than React.js, but the same things. Okay, do we need to code side by side or just watch the live session then code later? I would recommend to write the code later, because I think you would miss out some things as I'm saying, and you are writing the code, you would miss out something. So I would recommend please write the code later, because I would be sharing the code. That's the purpose of sharing code. Okay, so you can write the code later on. You can just watch the series right now, watch the video just now, and you can code later on. Okay. All right. So first important thing, I think everyone must have VS Code at least. So please install VS Code. You just have to do one thing. You just have to type Visual Studio Code. Okay, VS Code. So this is Visual Studio Code. Some people use the purple one. That's some purple logo. I don't use that one. Okay, that's I think for different purposes. But I use Visual Studio Code. So please download this, and you can just download it for Windows, or you can go for Mac OS and different. Okay, so you can just download this setup for Windows. Once you click that, it would be downloaded. And once it's downloaded, what you have to do is, while installing the setup, you just have to check all the checkboxes in the setup. That's what you have to do. Then click next, 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 and your VS Code would be installed. Okay, so mine is already installed, so I won't do it again. Okay, but yeah, that's how you can install VS Code. Please don't forget to check all the checkboxes. Okay, we don't know Next.js, that's totally fine, because a lot of people don't know Next.js, but since it's recommended nowadays, so we would be using Next.js. Okay, we don't know Next.js, that's totally fine. I know some people might doubt, yeah, this is known as MERN, so why are we using Next.js? Because nowadays Next.js and React.js are considered as one. That means the old React.js, nowadays it's more recommended to use Next.js, and definitely everything is same between React.js and Next.js, just some basic differences are there. Okay, so if you don't know Next.js, that's totally fine. Okay, you can still continue. Okay. Right. So today we would be just covering the basic setup part now. I think I would need around 10 minutes more to just cover the setup part. Then we will end the session. Okay. Today that's the only setup part and the introduction part. Right. So if you don't know anything about Next.js, that's totally fine, but you must know React.js. Okay. So now let's continue. What we have to do is, I would be creating a folder here. Okay. So I would be creating a folder here. I'll just name it as live. Okay. And here I would just say my project name is blog. Okay, bro, I learned a lot in React, graduated in 22 but struggling to getting a job. Please give me some suggestion about that. Can I start backend from here? Yes, you can start the backend from here. If you are struggling to get a job, I would recommend you can search in LinkedIn. That's the easiest thing which you can do right now. And this year actually there is some recession, so I can't say that you would get a job easily, because I'm also a freelancer. So I do get, I'm also feeling somewhat of struggle to get freelance work this year, okay, specifically. So yeah, you might feel some struggle, but definitely you can use LinkedIn for almost everything. Okay, so do try LinkedIn for getting a job. Alright, so I've just created a folder, and here I'll be creating a Next.js application, a very basic setup. Just like React.js, you use Next.js. That's the difference. Okay, so let's open VS Code, and you right click and you get an option of open with code. That's the option when you get when you install the VS Code. As per my suggestion, check all the checkboxes. Okay, then you would get the suggestion. Right here you can see we have this folder. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to terminal. Okay, how you get freelance work? Actually, there are different platforms, like you can go to different freelance websites, you can search for it. There are freelance applications, but the easiest way is you can still like I also have a network definitely due to Geeks for Geeks. But yeah, if you want to get some freelance work, the easiest way is you can search on LinkedIn also. LinkedIn also provides some, yeah, you can search on people's, you can follow people, and if they have some freelance work, then you can contact them. That's the easiest way. Okay. suggest some tutorial to learn next year, so that in next session we are able to understand the code. Today also you would be able to understand the code, don't worry about this. I'll be explaining the code, okay? I'll be explaining the code, don't worry about this, okay? Whatever code I'm going to write in Next.js that is different from React.js, I'm going to explain everything, okay? Just wait, okay? Actually, I can't suggest any tutorial right now, because yeah, I can actually suggest a tutorial because that's a long ago. Okay, actually the latest Next.js is Next.js 13, so you can simply search on Next.js 13 tutorials if you want to find that. But I have also taken the same playlist on the Geeks for Geeks development channel, but that was about Next.js 11 or 12, I guess. So I think there might be some changes. That's why I'm not recommending that right now. Okay, please Hindi. Actually, I would love to speak Hindi. Okay, but some people are from different parts of the country, so I'm not sure everyone would understand that. Okay. How do I know on people? Okay, so actually you can simply search for freelance React.js and different terms on the search bar. Then you would find different peoples who are working on it or who are looking for the freelancers, things like that. Okay, right. So here, let's say, okay, I'm sorry. Let's create a terminal. Okay, for creating a terminal you would get a new terminal option here. Okay, so once you click on that you would get a new terminal like this. So here you just have to type the Next.js command. Okay, so for that I think I've typed it. So you can simply type npx create next app blog app. Okay, this is the name of our project front end. So that's the name, and this is the command which is used for creating a Next.js app. Okay, similar to that we have create React app. Okay, similar to this we have create next app. Okay, so if I hit this, it would create a Next.js application, and it's asking me, you would like to use TypeScript with this project? Yes, we are going to use TypeScript, because nowadays in React.js also it's recommended to use TypeScript. So we are going to go with TypeScript. If you don't know TypeScript, that's totally fine, because I would be explaining the TypeScript part also in this project. Okay, don't worry about this anything. TypeScript is same as JavaScript. Okay, there are some differences, basic differences, but the way of writing code is very same as JavaScript. Okay, so don't worry about the TypeScript or Next.js. Okay, and ESLint is fine, fine. Experimental app directory, no, enter. Okay, fine. So yeah, we have created a very basic Next.js application. Now I would like to run this Next.js application. So what I would do is, okay, it would take some minutes at least to create this application. Let's wait for it. Then we'd also cover the backend also. Okay, so for backend, what I would do is, let's create a new folder, and I'll just name it as blog underscore backend. Okay, or you can give it any other name. So this is the backend. Okay, backend folder. Inside this I would be writing the backend, and this is the front end part. Okay, we might need to create a specific page for admin panel also, but that would be really small section, so don't worry about this. But yeah, this is the front end which the user would see, and this is the backend which we would write the backend code on. Okay, so now you can see the front end has been created, that is the blog app. So what I would do is, first of all, let's go to cd blog app. Okay, so you'd go to the blog app directory. Then inside this we just have to run this. So for that we have a command npm run dev. So this is the command we use in Next.js. So first you write npm run dev, then you can see in localhost 3000 we get a similar page. Like in React.js you get a React.js logo and some page like that. Similar to this we have Next.js. Okay, so don't worry about this. This is just very similar to React.js, just some few differences. Okay, so yeah, this is the front end part, and we won't be covering anything about this from now. Next video we will be covering the front end part. Now let's talk about the backend part. So I'll just close this now. Okay, I'll just close this now. Now let's talk about the backend part. So what I will do is, I'll just right click here and open an integrated terminal. So you can see automatically this folder would open up an integrated terminal. Okay, now here you just have to initialize the backend. So I would just initialize it. So I would just type npm init. Okay, npm init. So we would be covering the backend in Node.js definitely. So package name, just hit enter. Okay, now your backend is initialized with package.json. Okay, so you can see right now it's empty, it does not have anything, but the main file, the main entry point is index.js. Okay, so we have to create index.js. So let's create index.js. Okay, so now inside this we have to install some of the packages. Let me just check what package do we need. Right, so I'll just type the names one by one. I hope the code is visible enough. Okay, so I'll just type the packages name which we would need right now. Okay, so I'll just install them. So I'll just type the name npm I body parser. Okay, so body parser. Okay, body parser, then cookie parser, then course, then .env, express, mongoose, and also nodemon. If you haven't installed nodemon globally, then you can follow this. Okay, so these are all the modules which we would need here. Okay, so guys, now you can see we haven't faced any issues, everything is fine. And here you can see we have node modules folder. If you don't see this in my GitHub repository, if you don't see this, what you have to do, first of all, let me just delete this. Okay, let me just delete this. I'll be sharing the code, and just a minute. So guys, in some of my projects, definitely you would be only seeing the package.json. That means sometimes you might not see package log.json as well as node modules folder. In those cases, what you have to do, always, anyone who is working with GitHub, who is actually uploading their code at GitHub, they know that they don't upload the code node modules folder into GitHub. Okay, that means in the repository you can see, you can assume that now you have downloaded the code from GitHub and you don't see node modules. How to start here? Okay, you can simply type npm I. Once you type npm I, automatically all the package names inside package.json would be installed, and a folder named as node modules as well as a file named as package log json would be created. Right, so now everything is fine. We have created, we have set up our backend part also. Okay, so let's write some amount of backend, then we would end the session. Sagar Datta, I have a crush on you. Arey yaar, thanks bro. Can't say anything about this. Okay, all right. By the way, I'm into females. Okay, don't take this in a wrong way. So someone has actually mentioned an error. This is related to npm not. Is npm installed? Okay, you have to first of all check that have you installed npm. I think, by the way, what command have you typed to get this error? Okay, please tell me what command have you typed here. Right, so here you can simply see blog backend, and here I am going to initialize my index.js, and let's start the backend from here. So what I would do is I would simply type the basic things like const express, and you can see I'm getting suggestion. By the way, I'm getting this suggestion from tab 9 extension. If you want to install tab 9, then you can simply search for tab 9, and it's a very great tool, and the free service is also fine, so you can use the free version. I'm using the free version, so I get some suggestions, so it saves some time. Okay, so I've just imported express, similar to this app equals express. Then you would type const body parser, require body parser. It's for the JSON parsing things. Okay, we would be parsing the JSON data. Then you would also be using the course policy. Course policy would be really important whenever you are just connecting your backend to front end. You have to give permission that this front end link can access my backend. So for that we would be using the course. Okay, then let's define the port. So I would just say that const port equals, suppose, 8000. Okay, 8000 port. For the backend I would say start with 8000, 8001, things like that. For the front end I would say 3000, 3001, 3002, like that. Okay, so I would say for the backend, always start with 8,000 or above. Okay, so here what I would do is we also need to use .env. Okay, so .env file is really important for saving your important keys. Like for example, you are using a payment gateway, so you get a secret key to use the payment API. So your secret keys, all the secret keys of any type would be saved in the env file so that nobody else can see whenever you share your code. Okay, whenever you share your code, never share the env file. Okay, if that person is not that trusted, never share the env file. That's why we write all the secret keys in the env file and we don't share this to anyone. Okay, so this is a very good practice. And here I would be creating some variables. Okay, so first of all, I would be creating a variable named as mongo url. Here I would be just pasting my database url which I would be using. Okay, so this is for mongodb. Then we would be also having jwt secret key, jwt refresh key. Okay, these are all the keys which we would be using. So you can just choose a stronger key value. Okay, but this value can be anything. Okay, these values can be anything, and this is the database name. I would just name it as blog db. Okay, blog db, something like this, or anything. This is just a database name. Okay, now you have to define your url. So for that, let's set up mongodb, and for that what you have to do is you simply have to go to mongodb. So let's type mongodb. Okay, mongodb, and you have to first of all log in here. So we would be using mongodb atlas. Atlas simply means that it would be on cloud. You don't have to install anything. Okay, so atlas is useful here. So mongodb atlas, and let's first of all sign in, and you can choose any account. So just click on Google, and I'll just go here, Harshal Jain. Okay, you can choose your any account. Okay, it's totally free. Like you can use mongodb for free, and then if you have large amount of users, definitely you have to purchase it. Okay, so here what I have to do is I have to simply create a new database. Okay, new database, new project first of all. So I'll just click on new project, and I'll just name it as blog MERN, any name. Okay, you can give it any name. Since I have similar names, so I'm just writing blog MERN 3x. Okay, MERN 3x. Okay, I think this would work. And here you can see you can add members, give access to anyone via their emails. Okay, I'm my old colleague, so I've given them access. Okay, now you can see create project. Now what would happen, your project would be created. Now inside this I can actually create, you can see it would look something like this. Okay, so what you have to do is you can actually go to database. Okay, you can go to database, and now you can see we have build a database. Okay, so here you can just go for free one because we are not that rich, so we can go for the free version. And for the development purpose, definitely you can go for free. Okay, you can see this much amount of storage would be given, so till then you would be working fine with this. Okay, so here you can choose AWS or any you like, and then you can choose the reason. A lot of people say that you must always choose the like the closest one. Okay, so if you think that this part is my closest, definitely you can, but I'll leave it as it is. Okay, then you can name the cluster like anything. You have to name the cluster something because you cannot change the name once the cluster is created. Okay, so I'll just say blog cluster. Okay, I'm just giving the name because I can't change it later on. That's why I'm just naming it this way. Okay, so block cluster 1. Okay, like this. And then you can also give a tag, but I don't want to give it any tag. It's fine. So you can just create this. Okay. Okay, guys. So here you can see we have username and password option. So username can be anything, but please remember the username. So I'll just name the username as @j123, and similar to this we have a password. Okay, so this is important because this would be allowing us to use the database link. Okay, database API link. Okay, so I'll just click on create user. Now you can see my local environment, cloud environment. Okay, that's fine. So you can just add your IP address. So first of all, I'll just remove this. If you have any IP address, you can add. What I would say is add my current IP address. Okay, this simply means your computer's laptop's IP address would be automatically added. Then you can simply click on finish and close. Okay, now you can go to overview and you can see it. Now you can see that this is the page. So what you have to do is just go to database. Here you can see we have an option of connect. Okay, just go to connect, and then you can see we have an option of compass. In the compass you can see I don't have compass installed. I actually want to use this link. That you don't need MongoDB compass, okay, you just need this link. Okay, so just copy this link, and here you can see we have the username at j123, and similarly we have to enter the password also. So password is again at j123, right? So these things are there. So what I would do is now I'm just going to paste the link here. That's it. And here you can just paste your password. Okay, so your password would be HJ123 or anything you have given. Okay, so this is the database link, and it would allow us to access MongoDB, right? So these are all the variables, env variables, which we need. Okay, so you can do it the same way. Now we have the backend link. Now we have to connect things. Okay, so just go to index.js. Then here you can simply first of all say, here we have defined .env files. Okay, .env file, inside this we have variables. To use these variables you have to use .env config. Okay, so here you can simply write require. Inside this I'll just say .env, okay, the package which we have installed, the module which we have installed, then the config. Okay, so this would allow us to use the .env variables easily. Okay, now one more thing, we have to define a file named as db.js. Okay, so inside this we are going to define our database. Okay, this is the file. Inside this we are going to start our database actually. So let's start that. Okay, so we have already installed mongoose, so I'm just going to import this const mongoose, require mongoose. Okay, import that, and then also here also you are going to use .env config, because we would be using the database URL from env file to db.js file, right? So now simply write mongoose dot connect. Inside this I would just type the mongo URL. So for that you have to simply write process dot env. To access the env variable you have to write it this way, and then you have to type the variable name which contains your MongoDB URL. Okay, so mongo underscore URL. Okay, this is the name. Then I would be saying that my database name DB name is process.env.db underscore name. Okay, so database name would also be given. Now after this you can simply say if everything is fine, then you would be using then catch. Okay, so if everything is fine we would say then connected to database, else you would be getting error. Okay, with the error, right? So this is the way you are going to initialize it. Now we are going to connect db.js with index.js. Okay, we have to start it. Okay, so first of all you have to import db.js, and you have to just run db.js along with index.js. So for that you can simply type require, and here you can simply write db. Okay, if you write db it automatically means db.js here. Okay, automatically it would import, it would use db.js. Okay, automatically it would run the file db.js. Now we have the db.js. Now what do we need is, we are going to just use body parser json, we are also going to use course, and we are also going to use cookie parser. Here I've just made the course empty. That means any front end can access this backend. Okay, for now I've just defined it universal. That means any front end URL can access this backend URL. Okay, so we have just defined this, and we would be using cookie parser later on, so we don't need this for now. I'll just remove this. Okay, and now at the end you just listen this on your port. Okay, very easy setup. So you can see API is working would be shown if everything is fine, and we would just run this. We would just hit this API to get this message. Okay, and if there is any error we would get that at the console. Okay, so now let's try to run this. So I would simply type nodemon index. Actually automatically it would take index.js. Why? Because here you can see that in the main we have index.js. So automatically once you write in nodemon, it simply means nodemon index.js. Okay, so you don't need to write anything. So here you can see we have some problem here. What's the problem? Cannot find module body parser. Okay, I think I have installed body parser, but yeah, let's save this. And now you can see we have an issue okay, actually we have an issue with the name here. Now I think it's fine. Okay, let me just make this capital so that the naming is proper. Okay, body parser. Now everything is fine. Now let's see what's the problem. So here you can see again we have the problem, body parser is not defined. Okay, so body parser is not defined. I think now it must work. Okay, what's the error? Port all. Okay, okay. Sorry guys, I was already running this app somewhere else. Now let me just refresh. Okay, now you can see everything is fine. Okay, now everything is fine. So you can see server is running on port 8000. And now let's try to check it on our browser. So if I type localhost 8000, you can see on the backend side, if we hit the normal API, that is the slash API. Okay, localhost 8000, and this is the slash API. Okay, once you hit this, you would get this message as a response. So you can see it would be something like this. So we have set up the backend as well as the front end, and I've gave you a brief introduction about the project. So if you have any doubts, you can ask me in the live chat, and after that we'll end this session. Okay, so before ending this session, I would like to upload this code on GitHub. Okay, so let me just upload this code on GitHub. So what I would do is, um, here I'm just going to initialize my GitHub repo. Okay, just wait guys. So I'll just show you my GitHub profile first of all. So you just have to visit github.com/virajj014. Okay, so this is my GitHub profile. You can visit here. Let me first of all create a repository, then you can download the source code from there. Okay, so new repository, and I'll just write blog 3x backend. Okay, okay, backend. So I'll just upload this now. I won't be uploading the front end because we haven't done anything in the front end side. Right now I'll just upload the backend part. Okay, so you can see we have here public, and I'll just type. Okay, so I'll just type these things in my console. So if you don't have a GitHub install, you don't need to worry about anything. You don't have to do anything from this. Okay, the GitHub part is you can totally skip it. Okay, so here we have to initialize. Actually, I'll just do it directly in VS Code itself. Okay, so guys, now for now I'm just using the env. Also, I'm uploading the env also because a lot of people get confused with the env. That's why I'm uploading everything. But in your case, if you're using GitHub, it's the always the best practice to never upload the env file on your repository. Okay, right now I'm just sharing everything. Okay, so now the code would be uploaded to GitHub, and now here you can see the code is uploaded on GitHub. Okay, let me just check. So if I refresh this, and now you can see that the source code is uploaded on GitHub. What you have to do is you can simply visit this repository. How you can visit this repository? You can simply visit my profile, just type github.com/virajj014. Then here you can see in the repositories, you would find blog 3x backend. Okay, you can simply search the name here, you would find this repository. Okay, if you can click this, you would get the complete source code, and I would just share this to you on the live chat. Harsh, this error usually occurs when Node doesn't find a package.json file. Also, when you install very old Node versions. Yeah, I think there might be some issue. He accidentally might have deleted package.json file. I forgot to tell you, don't ever delete package.json file. You can delete Node modules folder as well as you can delete the package log JSON file, but don't delete package.json file. Okay, so you can see here I have the node modules folder. I have uploaded the node modules folder, and from next time I would just remove this because it's unnecessary, it's taking unnecessary space. Okay, so but the most important thing is in any of the project, if I talk about the backend part in node.js part, package.json file is very important. It must always be there in any of your projects. If you're downloading code from somewhere or if you are writing your own code, package.json is important. Never delete this. Okay, what's the start time and end time of this live session? These live session usually start from 8 p.m. and it would end around 9. Okay, so right, I'm going to end the session because that's what I wanted to tell you today, the basic setup part and the introduction part of this project. Okay, but usually from 1 hour, that means 8 to 9, it would be like this. Okay, but most probably in 2 3 days. The time might reschedule to 6 p.m. Let's see, but most probably it would be 8 p.m. Okay, so we'll see that. So I hope you understood everything, and this was just the basic part. If you are worried about Next.js, then that's totally fine. You can actually watch Next.js tutorials on YouTube. You'll find a lot of people there, but please make sure you are learning the latest Next.js, that is Next.js 13. Okay, please learn Next.js 13 because this is the latest one. And if you don't know Next.js, you know React.js, that's totally fine, because in this series I'll also be explaining some concepts of Next.js which are different from React.js. I'm sorry, if you know React.js, if you don't know Next.js, then that's totally fine. I would be making you understand some concepts of Next.js which are not available in React.js, which are different from React.js. Okay, so don't worry about Next.js at all, but yeah, you can learn Next.js if you want, right? So that's it for today, guys. I hope you got the source code, and if you want to contact me, you can make comments on this video, and please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe this channel. And also, if you want to contact me somewhere, I'll just mention my Instagram. Let me just show you my profile. Okay, just a minute. Yep. So this is my Instagram profile. You can follow me here, and if you have any doubts, you can ask me here also. Okay. So that's it for today, guys. And from tomorrow, we will be starting the project completely with the backend part. Okay. Then first of all, we will be covering the backend part, and along with that, the front end part also. Okay. So that's it for today. I will see you in the next video. Till then, save a